Hi, I miss you guys. Hope you're doing well. Email me. Tell me what you're up to. I want to hear from you. We are doing 10-3 today, which is circles. And this is probably the easiest of all of the conic section things that we're going to do. So, definition of a circle first, just so we are all clear. A circle is the set of all points that are from a given distance from the center. So if I went some number of units this way, and then that same distance this way, and that same distance this way, right? If I just kept going all the way around, I end up with a circle. That doesn't look like one, but you know what I mean. So we're going to talk about two equations for a circle. Equations of a circle. Okay. There's a real basic simple one, and then there's the fancier version. If you had geometry with me, I taught you this last year. The fancier one, anyway. The simpler one we did, but not quite. We didn't lay it out. We did it just the fancy version of it. So here they are, two equations. We're just going to split this in half. The first one is the equation x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Okay, and for this equation, your center of your circle is 0, 0. Whenever it looks like this format, the center is 0, 0, and the radius is r. Okay, so notice it's an r squared there. Your radius is r. So if I were to graph this, if I have this set up, my center is 0, 0, and then whatever length is r, so let's say this is a length of r, we would go a length of r in every direction. R units this way, r units this way, r units this way, and what we would get is a circle. Guys, that was pretty good. So this would be a length of r, right? Anywhere you go, it's a length of r, okay? And you do need to know these equations. We don't give you these equations, so make sure you know them. This is one equation of a circle. The other one is this, and this is the one that I did with you. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So for this one, your center now, maybe you remember, I hope you remember, your center of your circle is hk now instead, and your radius is still r. Okay, so if I were to graph this, let's say we have this set up. If I were to put my center right here, let's say, okay, so that's my HK point. I'm just picking a random point. That's not actually HK, but we're going to say that's where our HK would be. And then our radius, however far we're going in every direction, needs to be the same. So let's say my radius is there, and then here, and then here. If you put the 4 points up, down, left, and right, it's a little easier to make a good circle for you. So this would be your radius, your radius, your radius. Okay, that's a terrible circle. I'm really sorry. It's better. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. First example, we are gonna graph x squared plus y squared equals 9. Okay, in order to do that, you need to know what is your center. So on a problem like this where there's nothing here, your center is 0, 0, and then your radius, and here's where you need to be careful. A lot of times people are like, oh, so the radius is 9. The radius isn't 9. 9 is r squared. So if I want to know the radius, I need to square root that, which means I have a radius of 3. Okay, so if we're going to graph this, We're just gonna freehand this. You're welcome to do this on grid paper. I like it better on grid paper, but for the sake of ease right now, we're just gonna do it this way. So center at 0, 0, and then radius of 3. 1, 2, 3. So you go 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 3 up, and 1, 2, 3, 3 down. And then you can just freehand that circle. If you have a compass and you want to use a compass, go right ahead. I would love that. But I don't expect that. Okay, so that's your circle. Second example. This one, now the equation is x minus 2 squared plus y plus 5 squared equals 36, okay? And same thing, I want to know what's the center, what's the radius, and graph it. So here's where you have to be a little bit careful now. Our center is not 0, 0 anymore. So we're looking at these numbers, but remember it's always the opposite because the formula is subtraction. So it's x minus our x value, which means our x value is actually a positive 2, and it's y minus our y value, which means our y value is actually a negative 5. So 2, negative 5. And then we need our radius, and again, 36 is the radius squared, so you're square rooting that, which means you have a radius of 6. So what we're going to do is we are going to graph this. If we are at 2, negative 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would be this point right here. Okay, so that's our center. And then with a radius of 6, you're going 6 in every direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down here, and 6 down, and 6 to the right, and our circle, I missed. It's cute, huh, guys? Something like that. Okay? Okay, let's switch it up. Now let's say, example 3, we're going to say the center of our circle is negative 4, 7, and the radius is 4, and I want you to write the equation of the circle. Okay, if you want to pause me and try it yourself first, give it a go. But here's what you would do. So it's x minus your h value. So x minus a negative 4 is going to be x plus 4 squared plus, and then it's y minus your k value, and your k value is 7, so y minus 7 squared equals the radius, which is 4 squared. So 4 squared is 16. Okay, so that's example 3. Example 4. Example 4 says x squared plus y squared equals 9. And we are going to, when they tell you to translate, it just means you're going to move. Okay, so translate or move. 4 to the left and 3 up. Okay, so there's a couple ways you could do this. If you think about this equation, the center is 0, 0 right now. So if you want to graph it, just to give yourself an idea, you started here at 0, 0, and now you're moving 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 up, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so your new center is that point. Well, that point is negative 4, 3. So you can do it that way. Or you can just think of, I have to go 4 to the left, and going to the left is actually going to be plus in our setup. 3 up, when you go up, normally we think plus, but that's actually going to be minus, right? It's always opposite of what it seems. So this would be x plus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared. And then your radius doesn't change. Your radius is still going to be 3, which means r squared is still going to be 9. Okay, so just keep in mind, opposite of what it seems. If I'm going 4 to the left, which is normally minus, I am actually doing plus because it's minus a negative would be plus a positive. Okay. All right, number 5, 3 more for you. You know what, I'm gonna put this on grid paper. All right, so I'm gonna give you a graph and we're gonna come up with an equation from the graph. So here it is. Let's see, we'll do, I'm just gonna make our coordinate plane this. Oof. Okay, so let's say we have a center right here. And then we're gonna do a point here, a point here, a point here, and a point here. Okay, so that's our circle. And we're trying to come up with an equation for that circle. Well, if we're trying to come up with an equation, then we need to know what the center is and what the radius is, right? So our center, if you name that point, it would be -4, -5. And then our radius, you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So whatever direction you go, you're moving a distance of 4 units. Okay, so that's the radius. So if we're going to come up with our equation from this, then it's going to be x minus a -4, so x plus 4 squared, plus y minus -5, which would be y plus 5 squared, equals the radius squared. Don't forget to square that. 4 squared is 16. So this is the equation of that circle. Isn't that fun? Kind of fun. Okay, I'm going to put number 6 over here, and then we'll just graph right on that grid paper again. Example number 6. Let's say we have x squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 49, and they say graph it. Okay, so we're going to figure out what is our center and what is our radius, and graph. So our center here, there's nothing with this. So remember that was the 0, 0 setup. So our x value is going to be 0. And then this is positive or -3? It would be a positive 3, right? It's opposite of what it looks like. And then the radius, if your radius squared is 49, then your radius is 7. Okay, so now we want to graph it. If I make my coordinate plane, let's see, I'll just put it right here. Okay, my center is 0, 3. So 1, 2, 3, that would be my center. And then a radius of 7. We're going to go 7 in every direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the left. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up. And my graph then, that was pretty good. Doesn't usually happen. So it looks like that. Okay. All right, last one. We don't need grid paper anymore. We are doing example 7. And this one says to write an equation and we're going to gonna say that our center is 2, -3. And the circle goes through 5, -1. Okay, now you learned this last year in geometry, maybe the year before in Algebra 1. I don't remember, it's been a long time. But here's what you're thinking, okay? You know your center is HK. This is an X and a Y value, and we're trying to do X minus H squared plus Y minus K squared equals R squared. Now, standard form has this number plugged in, this number plugged in, and this number plugged in. So we need a radius, and we don't have a radius, but we have everything but R to fill in that formula. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna plug in these numbers. So X minus H, 5 minus 2 squared, and then Y, so -1, minus K, which is a -3, minus a -3 would be plus a +3 squared equals R squared. Okay, now if you want to, you can plug that into your calculator. We don't need R, so you're gonna leave it as R squared because that's what we wanna plug in. So we're gonna go 5 minus 2, so 3 squared or 9, -1 plus 3, so that would be 2 squared, so 4. So R squared is 13, okay? Do not square root it. We want R squared in our formula. So if we're gonna put this with a center of HK and an R squared of 13, it's gonna be X minus 2 squared plus Y plus 3 squared equals our radius squared. And that is your equation. That's it.